Ram trucks were down quite a bit year over year. I'll tell you why. We also have details from Ford holding it steady. Chevrolet had a mixed bag. Toyota sales were really high in the Tundra and then down in the Tacoma. Head scratcher there, chin scratcher. We got a lot of stuff going on in this video. Hey, it's Tim, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk. I love sales day. This is quarter three sales 2024. Been doing this about a decade, and I've always find sales numbers to be, well, interesting for truck guys like me and probably for you too. So let's go ahead and check this out. So it's over on pickuptrucktalk.com. I'll put a link in the description and in the comments. You can find this later on. We have I've a quarter sales going back for years and years. You want to look back. But so I wrote an article and I gave you a bunch of my written viewpoint. But hey, let's talk about this in the video. So if you scroll down to the bottom, I have this chart. There we go. Quarter three, 2024, quarter three truck sales. Ugh, a lot of words this morning. Ford F Series, we have it up about 4.2% down year over year. We have a new 2025 model coming out for the F1, or no, excuse me, 2024 model for F-150, some changes there. More detail lots. People are going to wait for that new model. You'll see this theme time and time again in this video. F Series does include F-150, 250, 350, and 450. And we just commented, that was last week, some changes to 2025 F Series. So, or Super Duty, excuse me. So there'll be some changes on these numbers. I don't expect them to go up too much more. I mean, this is pretty steady work from Ford. They've been this way for years as this number. They've always been on top. They sell about the same number of trucks. It's a good business for them. It's like majority of their income. Chevy Silverado, we have they break down the numbers, which is interesting. So they have the 250, 2500, and 3500 broken down, the heavy duties and light duty. We can see the numbers were down quite a bit. I'm not really sure what's going on with that. Doesn't seem like there's anything going on with Chevrolet. I'm seeing more advertising for Chevy Truck Month, so more incentives are coming out. So I'm guessing they'll start trying to ramp up some sales. I know they've had a lot of focus over at General Motors about EVs, and press release was full of EV news, best EV news. But guys, your trucks need to sell too to pay for those EVs. Ram truck was down 19% year over year. What's interesting with Ram trucks is I have a TikTok video. Yeah, this week. Yeah, TikTok video. I'm all these different platforms. I have a TikTok video of this $91,000 tungsten, and people are losing their minds on TikTok. It's like, oh, what a pile of crap! What a junk! No wonder they can't sell trucks. This seems to be rusted out in 2 months. Has it gone up for recall yet? I mean, just the ferocity of negativity is just overwhelming. I actually have to turn it off sometimes because they're just like, Jesus criminy. So let's talk about these sales numbers and then get a little perspective here. Sales are down quite a bit year over year. Ram's not going out of business, and this is pretty standard. When you have such a big change happening to your brand, you expect sales to go down. We're waiting around for models. Like for myself, I'm buying a 2025. I'm not buying a 2024. That makes no sense to buy the prior generation. I need to buy the new generation, and I'm not alone. There's a lot of guys who want to buy the newest thing. So we have 2025 Ram 1500 that's just now starting to hit deal lots. RHO is just now going production. You have some difficulties with the Stellantis right now. The UAW is really pissed at them. They might go on strike. We have the heavy duty Ram truck getting refreshed later on this year, and then we have the plug-in hybrid Ram truck coming out. Hopefully by December they'll have an announcement of that. This is to be expected. That's all I want to say. Sales are down, to be expected. And there's some comments saying, why don't they sell off all the prior generation models before they build the new ones? That's not at all how business should work. They better, they're going to put incentives on the 2024s when the 2025s roll in. You can't just sell out your dealership and then wait for more to come in. It takes too long to fill these dealerships up. You can't do that. Sorry, it's just I'm scratching my head over these comments because it just doesn't make sense. GMC, let's move on. GMC Sierra sales were up, and you're looking at up overall. What's interesting is heavy duty was down a little bit, which a lot of people go to Sierra for the Denali trim, and usually heavy duty is really big money maker for General Motors. GMC Sierra 2500, 3500, even a 1-ton dually, and not a dually Denali, and then Denali Ultimate. I mean, you're looking at quite a bit of profit there. So it's interesting. Sales were kind of down a little bit. I'm sure GM will work on that one because they need that to pay the bills for the EV production. And looking at the overall numbers, I mean, they're up. The GMC has become more of a premium brand, and the AT4 and the Denali Ultimate and even the other trims they have, SLT and things, they just look a lot nicer than Chevrolet does. It just does. And so I can see consumers for the money spend a little bit more, go over there, get a little bit nicer looking truck. Toyota Tundra was up 18.5%, up 31.3% year over date. That's a pretty big deal. I think this is going to be the best year the Toyota Tundra's ever had. And there's going to be a couple factors in that. First of all, the plant in San Antonio builds just the Sequoia and Tundra now. Used to build at Tacoma. That production's all moved into Mexico. They joined the other Tacoma production down there, and they built a new plant. And so now you have better capacity in the plant. Sequoia is not the big sales leader, so you're going to build more Tundras, right? And that seems like the recalls are kind of being past news, right? The engine recall, it's a big deal. It's going to impact lots of consumers, 100,000 of some trucks getting new engines, but that's been kind of taken care of. So some of the questions of reliability, I think, are kind of getting smaller. I'm not hearing the same veracity of comments about that. It seems like that's kind of taken care of. So I think customers are saying, okay, well, if I get a bad truck, I get a bad engine, I'm just going to get a new one anyway, new engine. So maybe not a big deal. So I think we'll see sales keep climbing up. Nissan Titan was down 18%. That's to be expected. That truck is dead. So they're going to sell last the remaining dealer lot and then move on. The Toyota Tacoma was down 10.1%, down 29.4% year over day. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal to me at all. Tacomas are just now, the 2024 models are really starting to get into journalist hands. Like I have a trail hunter this week. First time I've had a trail hunter, and they announced it last year. You're seeing more videos on other channels about the trail hunter and different Tacoma TRD. I just drove a Tacoma TRD Pro in Texas. I mean, journalists starting to get their in their hands. You're starting to see consumers get them. I mean, we're starting to see the rollout. So I expect them to be down year over year, and I think next year you'll see sales be up year over year. It's just a matter of getting inventory out. Chevrolet Colorado is up 13.2%, up 20% overall. I think that's a great sign. I think Colorado's a pretty solid truck. I like the Tacoma a little bit better than I like the Colorado, but I like the price point of Colorado a lot better. So I think we'll see sales continue to climb because Tacoma, in my view, especially the Trailhunter and TRD Pro, has gotten pretty expensive. Ford Ranger sales are up 109.9%. You're going, oh my gosh, what happened there? Well, Ford Ranger got really hit by the 2024 or 2023 UAW strikes. And so they're finally starting to come out. They were delayed in the spring. Even the spring, people couldn't get them. And then coming into the fall, I mean, they're finally getting dealership lots. So that number is going to keep climbing. They'll probably be up year over date just because they finally have inventory. Nissan Frontier was up 21.6%, which I think is great. The Nissan Frontier is a solid midsize truck. They've done some slight changes, a refresh on a new model coming out, but I think it's solid. People like the natural aspirated V6. Their little turbos are always a conversation on this online on this channel on different forums. People have love or hate reliability. I think a lot of people will think of the old 1980s, 1990s turbos, and that really scares them. I see a lot of comments that kind of tell me that's what they're thinking. But new turbo and charged engines are built from the engine forward. It's turbocharged. It's not slapping a turbo on it, which is a big deal for reliability. And so that thing's changed. So, but I still think where people are saying, hey, I can get a natural aspirated V6, the Frontier. I can get a longer bed with a crew cab. I can get a little bit cheaper truck. The Frontier typically is a little bit cheaper on dealer lots than, say, Tacoma is. And I think people are just saying, you know what, I can do that. And actually, Nissan Frontier and Toyota Tacoma reliability are like right there, 1, 2, or 1A and 1B. It's kind of in the years I've done this. Honda Ridgeline was up 8%. Not big number there. They're up 16.5%. I'll fix that here in a minute. I'm doing this live video, but yeah, I mean, you're up a little bit. I think it's a solid truck. They've made some little bit of changes here and there, but I just think people like it. They want the alternative truck to a body on frame. They don't need the body on frame ride. They want a smoother ride. They want, Honda reliability. GMC Canyon was up quite a bit. I think that and the Colorado. I should talk about this. Missouri Wentzville facility was one of the first ones to be on strike with the UAW. So I think we're seeing here just another byproduct of having inventory, having a byproduct of having the plant going. Remember, these sales numbers are for the third quarter, so it's the summer sales. So we're looking at third quarter summer sales. So we're looking at more inventory. Jeep Gladiator was down 35%. That's a big number. That Gladiator makes me nervous. And they're making a new 4xe version, which I'm not sure people really are buying the plug-in hybrid Wrangler and Gladiator to come. I hope it's a big sales success for them, but if those numbers don't start going higher, I think Jeep's gonna have a hard time making the argument to keep the Gladiator around. I think that's where it's at. The Ford Maverick up big again, and now we have a new model. It has a Lobo, which is a sport truck kind of model, and we have all-wheel drive in the hybrid. That's going to continue sales growth. I think it's going to keep booming. And it's interesting, Toyota came out and said they can't make the business case for a compact truck in that category. They're wrong. I think that this category is going to continue to explode. And I am just still shocked we're not seeing more competitors at this point. This is just ridiculous. You get a smaller truck, you get in the bed, you can reach in the bed easily, you fit some city parking spots better, fits in garages better, and it's the right truck for just those type of consumers who don't need a bigger truck, but they want the utility of a bed. I think it's just ridiculous. Hyundai Santa Cruz was down I'm not sure what that is. They've made small changes to the front fascia. They've changed the infotainment screen. The Santa Cruz is actually more expensive than the Ford Maverick is, which I think is the miss for them. I think they would drop the price and make it more of a entry level vehicle. They get more sales. Electric truck sales. These are always hard. These are so difficult to put it into charts like this. The reason why is Rivian does not break out the numbers. Tesla never talks about their sales. I saw a report they sold 5,000 Cybertrucks in July. That's all I know. So I left the number 9,000. Who knows what the number is actually going to be? That's what we had from last quarter. I think seems like it's probably around the same or more. It's so hard to tell with those guys. Ford Lightning is a real number. We get the data straight from Ford. 104%. I've seen a lot more lately in the country and driving around. People are just finding, uses for them. I think it works if you live in an area where you have some charging or you can charge at home and you don't tow very often. I mean, it's not a bad option. And the price point is going to start coming down, incentives and things. I think you can be able to find them used on dealer lots pretty damn cheap. GMC Hummer EV, that's the truck and SUV. Really expensive vehicles. There's one in town. There's a black truck driving around. Like my golf buddies are always like, "Hey, did you see that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I saw it." So there's also a Cybertruck in town, which I great. So yeah, I think those sales will continue to climb. As far as I think they'll climb one couple more quarters. The novelty wears off. I think you'll see sales decline. The Silverado EV was up 100. This is the biggest number, 10,983%. It was up 29,077% year over date, which is just hilarious. Because they sold 18 last year. So we're seeing production finally get going with the Silverado EV. There's a power company's got one here in town. I've seen, and I live in a very rural area. I think we'll see more of those coming out, especially when they can start getting the price going down at some point. It seems like it has to. The work truck is still way too expensive, and we'll see what happens. The RST first edition was like 105,000. And you know what, guys? There's people online posting photos of their truck, the RST. They bought one. So people have the money and they want it, and it's now available. And it's a cool truck. It really is. Avalanche-ish with EV powertrain is the way I describe it. It's just too damn expensive for me. But yeah, if you want it, you buy it because yeah, there you go. That's how the capitalism works. Smart cookie there. All right, for more videos, check them out over here. Website down below as well, pickuptrucktalk.com. As always, thanks for watching. I will see you down the road.